ki khubor ka Batisi TV lawan ra shapi da ka Orange Nissan Lumso pho near Fire Brigade Shillong
UMLA ke Kongres na nongpo constituency uba Miral Bonds aim ulawan ra ya ka mat ya kren hapo ka yeng dorbar thawan ke jilla hakabay day bat ka jingya ka jiaput hapadeng ka Meghalaya bat ka Assam habakren halor ka mat uba Miral Bonds aim ulaong baka jingwan kentur pot ka Assam menta ka long lajan man kasngi bat ki pulit Assam ki jupendik na ka por sa ka por ya ki pait ba ki basyong basa hakithain kaput haba penken mau ya kijing sya thombor jong ki nongsong snong ha ki pulit Assam uba Miral Bonds aim ulaong banado usnem arjar khendai hado usnem arjar arpuwei kila don palat teli kijing jia sya thombor ki ba ki pulit Assam gila penjat penprai ki kam penroi jong ka sarkar Meghalaya ki badan ha khaput bat na lor ki kam sya syok jong ki nongsong snong UMLA ka mau senram constituency uba Himalaya Muktan Sang Peliang ulaong bada leileru umpriang ya kijing kren jong ka sarkar Meghalaya bat ka sarkar Assam ban shim de ka but ya shim ya ai ne ka give and take policy namar ba ka jilla kamdon AA ban ai ka Assam hanrai ka dei ban shim ya ki jaka jongka na ka Assam UMLA ka umroi constituency uba George B Lingdo ulaong ba ka Assam ka pha de ki perton pulit ha khaput bat ka ne kala penting pensmi je ki breu ki ba shong basa ha khaput haba jubab ye jingkren jong ki babon ki dikhot ka yeng dorbar menteri rang ba ka jelau Konrad Sangma ulaong baka sarkar Meghalaya harengkat bat ka sarkar Assam kidang pej banyak bin babin kumno ban penpej no ya ka kam ya ka japut hanrei shwa ban shim ya ka rai ka bakhaddo kin habru ban sngap ya ka sur jong ki nongsong snong ha khaput ka sur na ki hima khnang baka rai kan dei ka baya hunlang hakabaya day bat ka give and take policy ulaong baka sarkar jilla kala krenshai ka sarkar bala da day ki jaka ka ba amla ban menjur da leileiru ka sarkar kam tre ban priang ne ban pendem ha ka Assam ulaong baki pait ba kim day ban sngoto bakala ya ka give and take policy namar ba kamut bala da ka Assam ka ai ka Meghalaya ru ka hab ban ai markat jo bat kam shimlong kumta ulaong.
Sir, our forefather, our elders always narrate about the history, how we attain our statehood. There are many leaders and volunteers, men and women who have engaged themselves in those years, taking part in procession, taking part in rallies, in demanding that hill state of this or beloved state of Meghalaya it could attain. We cannot forget the volunteers of the Non-Violent Direct Action NBDA of those years before we attained our statehood. The volunteers who have fought tirelessly, who have put their brain together to fight to attain the statehood. With the slogan, we want hill state, no rest. Sir, leaders like late Captain W.S. Sangma, S.D.D. Nichols Roy, B.B. Lengdo, Edwinson Barre, Hopping Stone Lengdo, P.R. Kandia, and many leaders who have contributed towards attaining a full statehood. This respected leader, they have struggled a lot, but their unity, their determination, their dedication paved way for attaining their goal to have a statehood. It was on the 24th of December 1969 where the Assam Reorganization Meghalaya Bill was passed both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, where the Provisional Legislative Assembly was accorded. So this passing of this bill, it's like a Christmas gift to the Provisional Legislative Assembly of our state that time. Subsequently, on the 2nd of April 1970, the autonomous state was inaugurated. And another moment of joy is that on the 10th November 1970, when the full statehood was announced in Parliament, and formally it was inaugurated on the 21st of January 1962 as a full-fledged statehood by late Shrimati Indira Gandhi as Prime Minister of the country that time. Everybody was happy, and I want to place on record to all those leaders, the volunteers, men and women who was involved for attaining of statehood. But we still have pending issues since that time, for almost nearly 50 years now, that we still do not have a proper boundary of our state till now. The government of India is aiming to solve border issues in northeastern state before attaining 75 years of independence. Sir, border issue is very sensitive issue. It is very sentimental. Naturally, in each and every one of us also, we would like to protect our boundary, even in our house also. We don't want to see anybody will encroach. We'll have a proper fencing of our own house so that it will be fully secure. The creation of Meghalaya, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, and from Assam has sparked several border issues. Assam has 8 district boundary with Meghalaya, 3 district bordering with Mizoram, 4 district boundary with Nagaland, and 8 district bordering with Arunachal Pradesh. Meghalaya border dispute with Assam emerged much before we got our statehood also, that is in 1971, when it challenged the Assam Reorganization Act 1971, suggested by the Chandrachud Committee that recommended handing over Block 1, Block 2 to Assam. Meghalaya claimed that Block 1 and Block 2 are part and parcel of Khasi and Jaintia district as notified under Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act 1873 and as per the survey map of the year 1872 and 1929. At present now, after deliberate discussion between both the state government, 12 area of difference has been identified in the past. They are Tarabari with 4.6 square kilometer, Gisang 13.53 square kilometer, Hahim 3.51 square kilometer, Langpi 298 square kilometer, Bordwar 147.83 square kilometer, Boklapara 1.57 square kilometer, Nongwa Mautomur 137.51 square kilometer, Khanapara Pilangkata 2.29 square kilometer, Desdomria 484.72 square kilometer, Block 1, Block 2 1,547 square kilometer, Khanduli and Psiar 78.80 square kilometer, and Ratachera 11.20 square kilometer, which brings to 2,729.14 square kilometer approximately. These are the identified disputed area of difference. So my concern here is that apart from this 12 area of difference, there are several places along the interstate border between Meghalaya and Assam. There are several places where they are disputed, but it remains unnoticed on the government and the district administration. We have noticed several places apart from this 12 area of difference where encroachment is there every day. So the government has to take cognizance of this issue and to solve once and for all. In the past, they talk about the status quo was there between both the state government, which means that we should respect each other and let developmental works continue, and no new settlement should be encouraged by both sides. But sir, it has been seen in the past that Assam has resisted developmental works in border village and also disrupted and harassed the genuine citizen of our state, those genuine local people who are staying and settled in the border area. Most of the time they have been harassed by Assam authority. For instances, just in the between the span of 2009 and 2021, there are not less than 114 incidents that has happened in the border area, which has created confusion, chaos, insecurity for the people of our state residing in border area. For instance, for example, few of these issues that has happened. In 18th of April 2009, in Langpi, where villages were stopped by Assam police to go to their paddy field for agricultural purposes and others. On the 6th of July 2009, in Leja Dubi, erection of boundary pillar without the knowledge of the government of Meghalaya. On 21st of November 2009, in Langpi, it was witnessed that there were new settlement witnesses in that particular area. In 18th of July 2012, in Miang Berkong, where the school were dismantled. On the 6th of February 2010, the construction of a road from Ranibari, Akhonjira, Balakhawa, without informing the government of Meghalaya, the construction of this road has been taken up. On the 19th of March 2014, at Jatalong, where youth were beaten up in that village by unidentified people from Assam. On the 11th of November 2015, at Madan Umwang, where the project from sericulture were dismantled, that is the Eri Farming Cluster Shed, has been dismantled. At the same time, in 2018, that SSA school in Madan Umwang has been dismantled. The same incident in August 2019 occurred in Psiar, where the MG and REGA work were disrupted. Incident on the 1st of August 2021 also, where Assam police intruding into Mausikar village and planning to erect boundary pillar near Krudum, but they were stopped by the villagers. Recently, sir, with this incident in the past, but recently the incident which has happened on the 26th of July 2021 at Yongkuli, which is not part of the area of difference, which is a normal area, which is not under that area of difference, but still Assam authority, they came and stopped the erection of electric pole by MECL in that villages. And this showed the attitude of our counterpart by encouraging this kind of disruption of developmental activities in this area, which is part and parcel belong to the state of Meghalaya within Ribhoi district, within the Raj Marwet of Himam Lim. Another incident, sir, which has happened on the 23rd of August 2021, where 3 youth were beaten up in Umlaper village, Block 2. Some policemen were beaten up. We have seen in the viral video where he has been followed and beaten up in the paddy field. Heated argument between police personnel of Meghalaya and Assam has been taken place, where subsequently the DSP of Ribhoi were injured. And this incident is very unfortunate and uncalled for. The incident that has happened in past few months, the construction of transit camp in Khanapara, which is very unfortunate, where even the court has stayed the Transport Department of Assam to stop that work because it belong to Kong New Yearly Thank You of Shillong itself, which the court also it has issued a state order to the government of Assam to stop the work. This also is a kind of intruded encroachment that the Assam authority has tried to engage in due course of time. So these are incidents which came under the notice of the government. As I have said in my
Please conclude.
In my opening remark also, sir, that these are the only cases that have come into the notice of the district administration of the government. But there are plenty of areas where disputed is going on. The people of our border live in fear because of the continuous interference of the Assam police and authority. To resolve the border dispute, several dialogue between Meghalaya and Assam has taken place, but so far,
please conclude.
Despite
it's already over. 15 minutes, please.
Sorry, sir.
It's already over. 15 minutes over.
I'll finish in.
Sir, please. I have allowed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have not allowed. Please.
Resolve this boundary. Several effort has been taken, but till date, nothing construction or notable has been achieved. Recently, we have seen, and we are thankful to the government of Meghalaya. On July 23rd, 2021, both Chief Minister have sat down and they have started their dialogue. And I want to get a complete clarity from the Honorable Chief Minister about the words give and take policy, because we understand.
Thank you very much.
This policy, it might,
yeah.
The government of Meghalaya won't gain anything, but
please
we will going to lose many things. That's why I would like to get a complete clarity on these words. I'll finish in 2 minutes. Sir.
No, please.
Only 2
No,
minutes.
no,
Sir.
no, no,
Only
please.
2 minutes.
I allowed you
So
15
we would like
minutes.
that we wouldn't gain anything. So we would like to see
Meral Bond, please.
that the state will gain out of this dialogue.
Thank you.
Only one more point, sir.
Thank you.
I would like to.
I'll call another member now, please.
The ongoing talks between the two chief ministers at present are a result of meetings which had been held from time to time between the delegations of the states, sometimes at the level of the chief minister, or even between the ministerial teams from both sides. The present talks, therefore, are to be viewed in the context of past discussions and decisions. It would have, therefore, been appropriate that the delegations from the state are more broad-based, with all sections of the House being involved. This has been the practice adopted by the governments in the past, and they are seen to have been appreciated. The border issue has been with us for the last 50 years. In spite of sincere attempts by past governments, and a permanent solution cannot be expected immediately. It is therefore essential that the two chief ministers should concentrate on ensuring that peace is maintained at all costs in the areas of differences, and also to ensure that no action is taken by either state government which could have a negative impact on the law and order situation in these areas. This aspect, however, does not seem to have been given due importance. The recent incidents in Ribhoi district highlights the tendency of some elements in Assam administration to take law into their own hands and create avoidable problems. It sometimes appears that some field-level functionaries are not clear about the meaning and intention of the earlier chief ministers and chief secretary level agreements, or are taking advantage of the lack of clarity by acting in a manner which destabilizes the position on the ground. This is one aspect which the Honorable Chief Minister should take up seriously with his counterpart. Earlier decisions, for example, like the Chief Secretary's meetings on 30th June 1995, specifically mandate that there should be no further settlement or encroachment in the areas of difference, and this should not be allowed to take place by both the states. This does not appear to have been strictly adhered to. We need to devise some modalities by which this can be achieved. Some suggestions which could be considered are a joint inspection by the district level functionaries once every month or at least once every 2 months to identify if there has been any new settlement or encroachment during the intervening period. If considered necessary, a photographic record could be kept by both the states to ensure that this is complied with. The underlying spirit of the agreements between the two states is that issues which have the potential of creating tension and law and order issues in the field level should be sorted out amicably, primarily between the concerned deputy commissioners, and if somehow the problem cannot be solved, then it could be raised to the level of the chief secretaries. If the matter still cannot be resolved, then the matter should be discussed at the level of the chief ministers. This strategy would ensure that things are not sought to be resolved through strong arm tactics, which can never bring about solution, but through mutual discussion and agreement. So the guiding principle behind the decision of the chief ministers or the chief secretaries is that the people along the border areas should not be deprived of developmental programs, schemes which are of benefit for the public and which are meant to cater to their basic human rights, such as water supply, electricity, access to health, and similar other sectors should normally not be objected to, so long as prior intimation is given to the other side. However, this intimation should not be viewed as obtaining permission from the other side. It seems that stress on this aspect needs to be made by our state. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I know the mind of the Honorable Chief Minister, and may I also know the mind of the 3 cabinet ministers of our state who are heading the panel in the respective districts, because I saw one of our cabinet minister who had a panel for the West Khasi Hills speaking to the press and media that the Meghalaya government will not mind to adopt the policy of give and take. What does this give and take mean? What is the Meghalaya government giving away to Assam, and what is it taking from Assam? My mind is very clear on this issue, sir. Not an inch of land should be given to Assam, and there is nothing that we should give to Assam. Rather, we should take away all our land that are ethnically and culturally dominated by our people, which are in Assam. All these villages falling under Right Marwet, Hima Malay, comprising of 68 villages under this right, and also some villages falling under Hima Nongklau, Hima Jirang, erstwhile Hima Nongwa, Mautamur, are dominated by local Khasi and the Garo communities. Therefore, the mood and the sentiments of these people residing in these villages are with the state of Meghalaya.
Hima, please. Thank you. Your time
I'll
is
just
up.
conclude, sir.
Stop.
Let me just conclude, sir. I'll come to the last concluding.
Half a minute.
So before I resume my seat, so that's why I'm concluding, sir.
I
appeal to you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I appeal to you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to urge the government of the day to protect and provide security to the people of the border area in the state so that they live in peace with confidence and continue their business without any harassment from the Assam police or the Assam government officials.
Thank you very much.
And I also appeal through you, sir, that the government should not adopt the policy of give and take for the benefit of our future generation.
So just recently, I had just gone through a book written by John F. Karshieng and one Shri Bodhi S. Rani, in the Federation of Khasi States, the history, epistemology and politics. From there, sir, there's a lot to be learned about the genesis of this border issue. People keep asking questions, elected leaders, as to how this border issue has come. Why can't you resolve it? But that very book gives the very genesis, right from 1952, sir, on the very day that the Khasi Autonomous, United Khasi and Jaintia Hills Autonomous Council was inaugurated. There were huge protests, black flags raised in Shillong. Right from then, sir, the division in the minds of the Khasi states and the District Council has led to such a solution, such a problem till now that we can't resolve. Perhaps people and our leaders can go through this genesis. At the same time, sir, coming to the current scenario, sir, where we have the 12 areas of differences that has been acknowledged by both state governments. And there are new areas also, sir, where there are no differences, but then there are claims and counterclaims of lands. We want to know the position that or the stance of the state government pertaining to those villages where there is or there was no difference in terms of ownership or in terms of boundary, but now in those villages there seems to be disputes, sir. That's number one. Number two, sir, I want to know the stance of the state government pertaining to the statement made by the Assam government that they are going to place 4,000 troops across all interstate boundaries. How do you address this, sir? We have seen Yomkhuli, we have seen Umlaper, where these troops have suddenly come in. There's sudden reinforcement at the drop of a hat, sir. Whenever there's any kind of developmental activity trying to bring fear on those residents who reside in such villages, sir. Yomkhuli, we were there, myself, the honorable member from Nongpo, the MDC from Mahoti, we were there. We could see the scare, the fear that is being put in by these troops from Assam. Sir, next is, what is the effort taken to address the violations of the Meghalaya Land Transfer Act on those villages, sir, where people have registered their lands, land belonging to our state. Yomkhuli is one land, sir. Just next to it, several other villages, they fall under Meghalaya, but then land has been registered with Assam. There's a clear violation of the Meghalaya Land Transfer Regulation Act. Sir, and last, sir, what is the stand of the state government pertaining to the comment made by the Assam CM that there is no dispute of land with Meghalaya? It is Meghalaya who's claiming the lands of Assam. So, sir, these are doubts, and perhaps the Honorable CM in this reply can clearly state the stand of the state government so that we also, sir, can get clarity and the people of the state will also know. With these few submissions, sir, I resume my seat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
In the past, out of 30 Khasi states in Khasi and Jaintia Hills, there were 2 states, namely Jerngam and Nong Sao in West Khasi Hills, that are contiguous to Kamrup district, Assam, and therefore for administrative purpose, they were closer to Guwahati. These former Khasi states and their subject registered their land in Assam in the erstwhile United Khasi and Jaintia Hill district of Assam. When the United Khasi and Jaintia Hill Autonomous District Council came into being in 1952, the Khasi states were reluctant to be subjugated to the district council. The main gross being the enactment of the Khasi Hills Autonomous District, Appointment and Succession of Chief and Headman Act 1959. This gross, in a way, was also responsible for the inability to demarcate the boundary in the 50s between the United Khasi and Jaintia Hills and Assam. Even after statehood in 1972, successive 19 governments of Meghalaya in the span of 51 years did attempt to resolve the boundary issue with Assam, but without success, because the boundary was not demarcated at the time of statehood. As a result, land registration of some villages forming part of Meghalaya, which are contiguous to Kamrup district of Assam, remains with Assam. The Honorable Governor of Meghalaya on 7 September 2021 remarked that the boundary row should have been resolved during statehood. I tend to agree with the Honorable Governor, because had the APHLC government taken seriously after statehood, perhaps this problem should have not persisted, but achieved in 3 to 4 years of statehood. It will be in the interest of this August House to know that even the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Morarji Desai, in his letter of January 5th, 1979, addressed to late Darwin Dingdokpu, the then Second Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, who ran his government for just 1 year, 57 days, from 10 March 1978 to 6 May 1979. While referring to the boundary dispute between Nagaland and Assam, suggested to the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, quote, "In your case, it should be easier still, as most of the dispute relate to the physical demarcation of boundary in accordance with accepted survey maps. With the passage of time, the boundary mark seems to have disappeared. The service of the Survey of India could have been utilized by you to get the boundary demarcated clearly on the ground." This was the position 40 years ago, sir. Presently, our people residing along the border contiguous to Kamrup district, Assam, are living in fear and uncertainty and are in dilemma after the 2 governments initiated the boundary talk, which are in process now. The fear, uncertainty, and dilemma of the people are whether they are in Assam or Meghalaya. I am informed that the district administration has ordered the people living in this area to surrender the epic for the reason best known to the administration. However, I would like to know from the Honorable Chief Minister whether his government has issued such a direction in this regard. I urge the government of the day to kindly look into the matter so that our people are not unnecessarily harassed by the administration of both the states, pending the ongoing work entrusted to the 3 regional committees as notified by the government on 7 September 2021.
Thank you.
Sir, the ongoing scheme like the PMGSY also has not seen the light of the day even after the talks between the 2 states. The Atiabari-Umchek road on the PMGSY, sir, this is a very important road which has been stopped by the Assam counterpart. Kindly look into this matter. And with these few words, I resume.
Thank you for allowing me to take part in this very important issue, which is very sensitive and contentious as well. Sir, this border dispute, the problem that is being seen with our neighboring state, that is Assam. It's been unresolved, and so many successive governments did engagements with our counterparts. So it's a long-drawn exercise between the two states. It doesn't mean that the present government will think that, okay, the successive governments, they have tried, they could not resolve this. It's not our only fault or responsibility. Meaning, each and every one of us, we are elected representatives, and our people are looking at us by hoping that we can do something, a permanent solution on this. Sir, there has been lots of engagement, and 12 area of difference has been identified by both the states. And it has been agreed upon by both the states that there will be no developmental programs to be carried out in this area of differences. But after a couple of years of such agreement, we can see lots of disputes, claims, counterclaims being seen in the areas which is not considered to be area of difference. Like, for instance, this Mizoram-Assam border, whatever incident took place in Lailapur, Bairingti area of Mizoram-Assam border on the 26th of July is an eye-opening for us, all of us. Then subsequently, in the last week of July, in Yongkholi in Rivai district, number of vehicles occupied by Assam police, they just entered our territorial part of our state and started claiming that it is a part of the Assam state. Then thereby our MDC from KHADC, one of the MDCs, he rushed after being informed by the local people. Then he immediately called at around 11:30 after getting the information. Then he called the SP of Rivai district. And he reached at around 1:45 on the same day, but the SP reached after 4 o'clock. And he tried calling the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister about the incident by being helpless to help the people. But there was no positive response from the people who are in a position to help. And after that, the phone call was not also received. So these kind of things are happening whereby our people are being discouraged. It's the people who are residing in the border, they are the one working as the watchmen who will in turn be informing to the authorities if any such things which will be detrimental for the state of Meghalaya is taking place. In last year, in Bhalakawa also, in the area which is very much within the territorial jurisdiction of Meghalaya, Assam government was implementing construction of road under PMGSY. Then one of our residents, very much from the state of Meghalaya, he obstructed the contractor from further going in executing the work. Then he was assaulted, his house was gutted down, and the more interesting part is the case was registered with Assam police. The place of occurrence was Meghalaya, but then case was registered with Assam police. So when our government will not be interfering into this, intervening, then it will be as good as we are also accepting the claims of the Assam police that that very part of Meghalaya state belongs to Assam. So these are the small things, although, but very, very important. Why the people from Assam and the authority from Assam government, they are getting encouraged to come and trespass into our territorial jurisdiction.
Please close.
Then on the 9th of August,
Please close.
one of the MLAs from Assam, he just entered in Pilingkata area and started claiming that this is also part of Assam.
Please
So
close.
these kind of things are happening. So it is very in alarming states. I think the government will have to do lots of engagements with the counterparts and resolve this, try to resolve it sincerely, which will actually give us permanent solution.
Thank you.
So, as the time
Thank
allotted
you.
is very limited,
Yes, sir.
there would have been lots of things to be submitted, but with this submission and thanking you, Mr. Speaker, sir, I resume my seat.
Border discussion have been discussed at length from time to time in this August House by many other members, past and present. But still, till date, there are issues of difference at the border areas with the special mention to the incident which happened in my constituency, that is Yongkule. This incident, it cannot be accepted by us all because, as you know, sir, Yongkule is never been a disputed area, never been a disputed village. It falls within the jurisdiction of our state, Meghalaya. And through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to request the government of the day to have a special mention to the government of Assam, while both governments are on the move to resolve many issues of differences all along the border, say that the other state, Assam, should not create more and more disputes, because as we know that Meghalaya always respect Assam in any matter, sir. As we know, sir, that border-friendly relationship should be respected by both governments, Meghalaya, Assam, and maintain peace relationship by all the people living along the border areas is very important. Thereby, creating border-friendly relationship all along the borders is to be respected by both Meghalaya and Assam. In the past, we have noted that many chief ministers level talk between Assam and Meghalaya, chief state secretaries level, etc. But unfortunately, we have not seen any good results yet. It is a very high expectation from all of us in this August House and the people of the state to resolve border disputes between Meghalaya and Assam. I also would like to thank our Honorable Chief Minister, Government of Meghalaya, for taking the issue of differences with regards to border problems seriously. And we have seen that, and we are expecting very much with the seriousness of our Honorable Chief Minister and the government, along with the government of Assam, we hope that both governments, Assam and Meghalaya, will be able to solve border disputes once and for all. Taking our course to diplomatic political means is the way to resolve the interstate border dispute. Through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to urge the government of the day that some suggestions be placed by any member, like the one who is standing here in this August House, say all along the borders we need to setting up of a nodal office closest to the disputed areas, headed by a competent nodal officer in the rank of MCS and above, and also creation of a border police task force headed by this DSP rank to specially man the disputed areas. Number two, sir, to adopt free land registration within 1 kilometer, which falls all along the border areas with Assam, in order to encourage the landowners to formally register their holdings with the Meghalaya government and thus strengthen the state's hand when it comes to negotiating to resolve the long pending issues with Assam.
Please close down, honourable member.
1 minute, sir. Just ending of this. With this few submissions, sir, I'm very much expecting that both governments, Assam and Meghalaya, can resolve border issues between the two states so that we can see the people residing in the border areas will be able to maintain border-friendly relationship from time to time so that peace can be seen all along the borders.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
I resume my seat. Thank you.
I would like to be brief since the intent is very clear. The concerns of the members of this August House is definitely to draw the attention of the government about the concerns that we collectively have, particularly in respect to the prevailing situation along the Assam-Meghalaya border, not only pertaining to those areas which falls under the identified areas of difference in respect of those interstate border area, but also which we have been witnessing for the last preceding 1 year, particularly in those areas which otherwise do not also fall under the areas of difference. And I have had the privilege to also meet some of the families who reside in those areas. I have had the privilege of visiting some of the areas along with my colleagues. And it is definitely, when we go to ground zero, we can see the sense of uncertainty, sense of insecurity, and therefore looking at the government to really give them proper clarity. I think it is therefore from that perspective that government must, as have been already appropriately submitted by various speakers of this August House in course of their submission in this motion. I think I definitely hope that the Chief Minister himself has taken note of those points raised and will definitely address those concerns in the best interest of our people. In fact, I have messages being sent on a daily basis on my mobile. I have plenty of messages indicating what is happening. So government will be in a better position to know all those things because we have the mechanism, we have the agencies, authorities to have all those inputs to be provided to the concerned authorities, including the Office of the Chief Minister. Now here, very important aspect is that, yes, this very pending issue definitely requires a resolution. Now, why it has evaded? I remember even when both the chief ministers of Assam and Meghalaya had a joint press conference, I could hear the chief minister of Assam saying, yes, we have received the detailed documentation justifying over the claim of the state of Meghalaya over those areas of difference. However, he has claimed that they also have their counter claim. That's what he said. Now, I would like to make it abundantly clear before this August House that yes, there has been an exhaustive documentation done, compiled, and submitted to our counterpart, Assam government, justifying the claim and how and why we should agree to those claims. Now, therefore, it will be very important for the government of the day when we embark upon this engagement with government of Assam to really look at which documentation we are referring to. Are we referring to that exhaustive documentation which was the culmination of the exercise for more than a year? Because I remember when we had post-Langpi sitting of both the governments, the first thing that I was told in the meeting was that, yes, Meghalaya has been persistent on the claim in those areas of difference, but the state of Meghalaya has not substantiated with enough documentation to justify this claim. Kindly do this first. That was what was told in the meeting when I had the meeting with our counterpart, when the late Tarun Gogoiji was the chief minister. And the incumbent chief minister was also there in that meeting. And subsequently, we had a review, and yes, we realized that we were not in a strong wicket in absence of documentation. Any negotiation pertaining to border, whether it is a private land or government land, yes, proper documentation. The schedule indicating the border is crucial, and how we justify that. Therefore, we did this exhaustive work. We reached out to the communities, the leaders, the stakeholders, and the government was provided with exhaustive notification from the time of the British, before the independence, etc., etc. The whole compilation is available. Now, based on this compilation, whatever documentation has been submitted to justify our claim is the basis based on which we claim. Now, in this context, I would like to submit in brief that when we look at this whole justification asserting our claim over those areas, I don't find any area which do not belong to us. Therefore, if we have to give from that, it will be only give, no take. Because the area which has been documented as per our claim to justify our claim falls only within those areas which are part and parcel genuinely based on all the notification available. They all fall within Meghalaya. It's a question of how they interpret, but our interpretation is very clear. I would like to request the government, Mr. Speaker, sir, through you, that maybe the government should have this repetition of this presentation to all the members of this August House. Let us have a clear picture on how we have justified our claim. Because I was trying to find out from my colleagues who met the members of one of the regional committees, I think few regional committees were notified to go and have a spot inspection and give some report. Now, on what basis have they gone to the border? Do they have those documentation? Do they know which are the actual borders? So, it's a very tricky situation. So this is something which has to be, we need to do lots of, I must say, very hard homework. So please provide all the 60 members and even other stakeholders, including the HIMAS, the whole exhaustive documentation which is available, maybe one day can be identified, and let us all, we would like to all see that we are able to resolve this issue, though not all at a time, but we will always be there when the interests of the people are taken into consideration and ensure that the interests of the people are not compromised but are protected. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to suggest that let this particular documentation, which is a culmination of the exhaustive exercise of the government, with all the officers who are acclimatized with those issues and problems and challenges, be made available. I don't know whether the cabinet had the privilege to have a look on this. If they have had, it is good, but I think even for all the 60 members. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish the government, yes, all the support from our end, provided we move in the right direction. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, sir, I resume.
Sir, as you have clearly mentioned earlier, that because it was special and a very important motion, you had put it yesterday, but obviously because of circumstances, we had a lot of time yesterday, but we could not take it up because the mover was not there yesterday. But it is your large heart and also your commitment to this particular issue that today you have once again, even though the rules are not very clear on this and your final ruling will apply, you have allowed this. So I must, on behalf of the House and the people of the state, thank you, sir, for bringing this very important issue, especially at a time when a lot of discussions are taking place on this particular subject and this particular very important issue, sir. Sir, this issue, as has been mentioned by almost every member who has participated, and I'm sure it's in the heart of every single member who has not said or not participated, but everybody realizes the importance of this issue. And it has been a very long pending problem that we have faced. So therefore, I'm not here, and neither is this MDA government here, to tell you that we will find a solution to this tomorrow or day after or within a month's time. It's not clear as to how we will be able to move, to what extent we'll be able to move. One cannot say. The desire, of course, is there. The will is there. And we want to find a solution to this. But to be able to tell and guarantee that we will find a solution to this is obviously something that I cannot say at this point in time, simply because of the fact that this issue has been there for a very, very long time, and it's a very complicated and a very, very major issue. And therefore, sir, to start off the discussion, I would first of all like to thank all the past governments that have played their role, all the former chief secretaries, all the former chief ministers, all the former ministers of both Assam and Meghalaya, and especially of Meghalaya, who have put in their efforts and their part to really move this issue forward step by step in an effort to finally maybe find a solution to this. So I do take this opportunity to thank each one of them. Also, sir, while I try to address some of the points that were mentioned by the members, I would also like to say that there was mention about the fact that there's a 5-member committee that has been set up by the state government. So this is a committee for the regional, the districts that are going to discuss, and it's a government-to-government committee. And that's the reason why we restricted it to 5, so that the 2 governments can talk. But that does not mean that these regional committees will only restrict to the 5 people who are part of this committee. The responsibility of these 5 members of this committee will be to have a huge, broad discussion with all the stakeholders, whether it's the traditional heads, whether it's the civil society, whether it's elected members. Everybody will be consulted and discussed before we chalk out the approach and the plan in which we're going to move forward, or the claims or the counterclaims that will be made. I can assure the House that every stakeholder, as far as possible, will be consulted in the process. But obviously, it will not be possible for us to get everybody in the room together. We'll have to do it step by step. So this is the way we will move forward, and we're hopeful that we will find some kind of a solution in the coming days to this very, very complex problem. Sir, I will not go into the formal reply that has been given to me. I'll just try to touch on the general sentiments and the issues that people have raised.
on this very important issue. So first of all, a lot of people stressed and asked on the fact that whether we are going to discuss these 12 areas of differences, or are we also going to touch on other areas of differences that are not within this 12? So let me be very clear. The discussion is only for the 12 areas of differences. There is no question of any other areas of difference that are there. There's no discussion on that. We are here to resolve, both the governments have agreed that there are 12 areas of differences, and this committee, these committees are going to work by taking the stakeholders on board and focus on these areas of differences that we have. Number two, sir, one of the members had asked about the 12 areas of differences and which ones we're going to go first and why the 6 areas have been selected. So the 6 areas which we're going to work on in the first phase is Tarabari, Gizang, Hahim, Pilankata, Khanapara, and your Ratachera. So these are the 6 areas that we are going to be, and Boklapara, I'm sorry, there's one more, Boklapara. So there are 6 areas that are going to be touched. These are the 6 areas of differences which we are going to work on first. And the reason why we went into these is we have seen that in the past many years, not just these last 3 years, that number one, these are smaller areas, and number two, lesser complicated compared to the other areas. For example, Langpi has been an area where there has been a lot of tension, a lot of activity. Khanduli, PCR area, Block 1, Block 2 has been an area. Of course, Khanapara, Pilankata has been an area where a lot of activity has been there. But it is an area which is very small, and if we work very nicely and minutely, maybe we can find a solution. So that's the reason why we have gone for areas which we felt that we could actually find a way forward in. So that's the reason why these 6 areas were selected first. Now, having said that, obviously, Mr. Chairman, sir, we are not saying that we're going to resolve all 6 of them. Let me also enlighten the House that this discussion, along with the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, the incumbent Chief Minister, I have been discussing this issue with him even before he took over as Chief Minister. So earlier, almost about a year and a half, 2 years back, the Honorable Home Minister of India, Shri Amit Shah ji, had urged all the Chief Ministers of the Northeast to work together to find a solution to the border issue, stating that if India and Bangladesh can also resolve their border issues, why we within our country cannot resolve our border differences before the 75th year of independence of our country. And that is what sparked the entire discussion for all of us. And the then Assam Chief Minister also has been part of the discussion, and the current incumbent Chief Minister also has been part of this discussion. So we have been discussing this for quite some time as to how we should move forward in these issues. Now, the Honorable Elo has mentioned when he was Chief Minister of the state, the team had worked very hard and they had come out with a full detailed report on the historical facts of claims that we have over the land and why we have them. And that document has been one of the guiding documents for us. And we are using that document even as I speak now. I have the entire report here on my iPad. And we work on that. So therefore, historical facts and documentations and land records are definitely going to play a very important role in this entire process of moving forward. But the other side of the story is that while we have our documents, Assam also has their documents. And therefore, the question arises, whose document will be more valid? Of course, that can only be decided either mutually we agree on it, or a court has to decide it. So therefore, there are limitations to the approach of strictly going by historical facts and documentations. And that kind of limitation kind of restricts the scope of discussions that we could have. Therefore, the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam and myself, along with my other colleagues in the cabinet, we strongly felt that we may need to look at things also from different angles also. We may need to look at the ethnicity of the people who are there. What kind of people reside there? Are they Khasis? Are they Panars? Are they Garos? Are they Assamese? Are they Boros, Rabas, Nepalis? So this ethnicity factor also needs to be seen. What things were before and what things are now need to also be put into perspective. We can't ignore it. Another aspect we need to also see is what are the people's desire and the will in those areas. So it's very important to also see and consult. And this factor also is something that we need to consider while we go forward as to how we'll find a solution to this. Administrative convenience is also one area which is something that one will have to look at and see how we move forward. But historical facts and documentation, as I mentioned, will definitely be a very, very important part of the entire discussion that we have as we move along. Having said that, I want to also put things into perspective out here. The reason why we are very keen as a government and we feel that we should move forward in this is, number one, of course, it's been too long. All the members who have spoken about it have said, why 50 years? So we are not claiming that we will be able to find a solution, but we also strongly feel that we need to find a solution. Too many lives have been lost because of this. Every day people live in fear, live in uncertainty, live in a kind of complete darkness sometimes, not knowing what tomorrow will happen. And the people residing in these areas of differences in the border don't deserve this. And therefore, if the leadership in both the states, if the society in both the states can come together and can find a solution to this, an amicable solution, then why not? And while we look at this entire perspective, I would like to urge each and every member in this house that we must realize that while we're working on this solution, there may not be a perfect solution for it. There may be issues that we may not be able to resolve. So as a government, we are ready to also look at partial solution to the process. So we strongly feel that, yes, there are these 12 areas of differences. But actually, when you go into the micro details and you actually look at the map of Langpi or you look at the map of Ratachera, you sit down with the local people, you sit down with the officials, you actually find that maybe out of the 20 villages that we are disputing, Assam will say we have no problem with these 5 villages, they are in Meghalaya. And Meghalaya also will say, oh, these 3 villages, they are in Assam only, we also agree. So 5 plus 3, 8, minus that 12 are the controversial or the ones where we're not agreeing. So what we are saying is that if we can agree on 5 villages plus 3 villages, for example, I'm not saying it's the fact, I'm just giving an example, then why not? We need to move forward, Chairman Sir. This can't go on forever. And therefore, there needs to be a point where we may need to, as I said, think out of the box and find a solution to this. One of the members mentioned about the fact that, about the statement of the Chief Minister of Assam, saying that Assam has nothing to, we have no claims, it's Meghalaya that is claiming. I can't comment on why the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam might have said that, but I'm presuming that since most of the states were carved out of Assam, and whether it's Mizoram or the state of Meghalaya, I'm presuming that he had said it from that angle, saying that in the beginning it was all Assam, and so it is Assam only that is giving. So I don't think he had any negative or any wrong thoughts on trying to claim over a particular location, but I presume that he was speaking on a larger picture and a historical picture where everything was carved out of the then Assam, and therefore from that perspective I presume that he is saying that the Assam had given earlier also, and Assam will have to give in the days to come also. So I'm presuming that he said that, but as I said, it's something that only he can clarify. There were large number of members who had mentioned about the incidents that have been taking place. Now, sir, there is no denying the fact that many incidents have taken place in the border area. And even as we speak, sometimes some incidents do happen. And every time these incidents happen, we have a very strong mechanism to try to work on immediately resolving the issues. It starts off with the local block officers, the local Thana OCs. It escalates to the DCs and the SPs. Then it escalates to the nodal officers who are there from both the states. And then it escalates to the chief secretaries and then the chief minister. So there is a very systematic way of resolving these issues. And yes, sometimes the tension is a lot and it cannot be resolved immediately. And we face and we see certain incidents that happen, which are very unfortunate. And maybe these are one of the reasons also why we need to find a solution to most of these problems, because sometimes some of these incidents that happen are actually completely avoidable. It's just the tension that takes place and the misunderstanding that sometimes leads to a large of these incidents. I'm not saying all, but a large number of incidents could be avoidable if we are able to resolve some of the issues that we face. Regarding the specific issues mentioned by specific members, it will not be possible for me to reply to all of them, but as far as possible, Assam Chief Minister and myself now are on just a call away, and whenever incidents happen in any situation which comes to our knowledge, we immediately speak to each other and get the matter resolved before it escalates. My only suggestion, and I would urge everybody, is that during this period while we're trying to resolve the issue, we must, and Assam also must, I appeal through you, sir, that even the Assam counterpart and the Meghalaya counterparts, we need to restrain to whatever extent that is possible, because it affects the talks and the discussions that are taking place. I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong, but the situation requires and demands that we minimize all these kind of tensions, because those will then affect the talks that we're having. And I feel that this is a very positive time for us to be able to, if not 100%, which we hope it is, at least partial resolution in some of the areas is achieved. Sir, I'll just touch on a few of the points which was mentioned by some of the members without going too much into detail. The development aspect was discussed by almost everybody. And yes, sir, the border area locations require development and require security aspects. And as a government, we have always tried our best to ensure that maximum work wherever we can give, whether road connectivity, health, schools, we have been ensuring our security. We have been ensuring that the border areas along the Assam border are not deprived of the development activities. But definitely the suggestions given by the members, we will again take note of them, and we will ensure that we increase this allocation in those areas also, so that more development can take place in those areas. There was a discussion on give and take, and a lot of the members have been asking what is give and what is take. It can be interpreted in any way that one individual might want to interpret it. Some will think that we will give some and we'll take some. But the way for the government, at least for the MDA, the way we have seen the give and take and the way we are looking at it is that there are, in this entire discussion, say there are 100% of the area that is there. We strongly feel that there are large number of areas, and we are saying it after doing our homework. I want to inform the House that after discussing with the Assam counterparts, we have done a full drone survey of the 6 locations that we're talking about. So we have micro details into even a single tree or a plant or a electric pole that is there. Up to that micro level, we have mapped the entire areas. We know how many houses there are in each of the villages. We know which village is there, where the road construction is. So this matter has been discussed in detail. Not only did we do this, we have also had a very basic official level and at unofficial level discussions with the public of those areas and try to understand the sentiments that the people have out there. We have discussed with unofficially with the local leaders from there, with the MLAs, MDCs, or any kind of civil society, even the headmans and the Rangbashnongs, At a very unofficial level, discussions have been going on. So sentiments and inputs have come to us. And after all of these inputs, I'm not saying it, sir, as a statement in the House, but I'm just telling you the approach. So I shouldn't be quoted saying that this is what I was indicating, or I was stating, but I'm indicating here that all the discussions we've had, we are finding that there are, out of 100%, there is a large number of villages, if not much, 30 to 40% villages, where Assam agrees that this is Meghalaya, and Meghalaya also agrees that it is Assam. And you're actually looking at this map and you're seeing, slowly as you go into micro details, that actually there is no dispute in this 30%. But in the map drawing, it just so happened that in those maps it came out. And but the general movement is there, but we have to do more study in that. So I don't want to be quoted on this, but this is the indication that we're getting, because now we have to talk to more leaders, we have to go into micro detail, we have to go into more records. So it's a massive exercise. So when it comes to the definition of give and take, this is one of the areas which you're looking at. Is it possible that Meghalaya and Assam can agree on certain villages which are in Assam, are actually Assam, and which are in Meghalaya, without any kind of confusion? This is one of the definitions for a give and take kind of a model. Are we indicating that we will say, no, this land comes to us, so if this 10 acres is coming to you, we should get 10 acres? Absolutely not. We are very clear in our mind, sir, that if there is going to be an area where we don't agree, where Meghalaya says it's impossible for us to surrender, there's no question for us to agree to the terms and conditions of Assam. And Assam has made this clear to us also, that the areas where we can agree on, let us at least start by agreeing on those. Those which we cannot agree on, let us keep on the side. We will discuss it when the time comes. But let us at least try to move forward. All these years, we have been discussing whether at the Chief Secretary level or at the Chief Minister's level, we go with huge documents. So this is just a sample of what we go with, and all of that is here with me. But it's more than this every time we go. And we sit for hours. They show their presentation, we show our presentation. After presentations are over, we don't agree on anything, and ultimately we say, let's maintain status quo. So we have felt that maybe we need to come out of this mode and try to find a way where we could actually start resolving bit by bit, and build up the confidence of the people as well as the two governments and Government of India that yes, we as a government and as a house and as a state, we are serious about resolving it and actually moving forward. So this is really what the approach is all about, and that is where the give and take aspect comes in. But as I said, sir, if it is a question of giving the areas that we don't agree upon, that's Assam, that's no question of going to that level, sir. We will not agree on the areas where we are very sure that these are the areas of Meghalaya, and only the areas where we agree on agreeing, those are the areas we'll move forward with. So there were some good suggestions that came out regarding land registration for free, regarding the border police task force, setting up a nodal officers. I have noted all these suggestions down myself, and of course my team also must have noted them down. Definitely, sir, we will examine all of this. In fact, the free registration part which was mentioned, this has been a discussion. Honorable Deputy CM himself has brought this issue out in a number of meetings we've had, and after thorough examination, we are looking at an aspect, but it will not be appropriate for me to immediately reply to that. So therefore, we are definitely examining it in a very positive manner, and I have taken a note of that point too. As I said, sir, regarding the individual small issues, whether it's about Yankuli, whether it's about the transit camp, or whether the issue about the other locations where the problems were having, sir, as I said, those are important events and situations that took place. But as a government and as administration, we have tried to ensure that we resolve them at the earliest. And I also would like to urge to all our leaders in this house and also outside this house that whenever such situations come in, it is our responsibility to work together to ensure that while these discussions are going on, that we minimize. Assam also tries to work on maintaining restraint, and so do we. but that should not be taken as weakness, and nor should it be taken as a compromise. But it is about being firm, but yet keeping the objective of finding a solution to this entire issue right in front of us. There were suggestions that came in about putting different pillars in different locations. So those are also areas that we could definitely examine. Regarding the select committee and other aspects, so that's of course a decision that is at your level. So I don't have any comments on that aspect, but I have very categorically mentioned and clarified to everybody in the House that these committees that are formed are government committees. This will talk from government to government, but their work, their scope of discussion is not limited to the 5 members, but they have been asked to consult all stakeholders, make field visits, speak to every stakeholder possible to ensure that we get the holistic picture, and we always take the people along with us while we work on this. And so, again, so the common factors that were mentioned about development and border issues, so I have taken note of all of those. There was one member who had asked about surrendering of EPIC cards. So there is no such direction from our side in that. So if the honourable member can mention specifically where this has happened and just give it to me in writing, I would be happy to definitely look into this. So regarding the areas outside the areas of differences, as I've mentioned clearly, that those are areas that are not within the scope of this discussion of this particular discussion we're having with the Assam government. So we are very clear that it is only about these 12 areas of differences, and we stick to that. If there are any, there was a mention about certain acts being like the Land Transfer Act, which was also was mentioned by one of the members. If there is any situation, any violation of that, and definitely we are aware of 1 or 2 locations, we are acting on those. But if there are such situations in other locations, we as a government obviously would be very, we would definitely be happy to act on that. So if the information can be given to us, then I will definitely take necessary action in those lines also. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, to conclude, there are many points that have come up, and I have taken note of most of them. But I just want to conclude by saying a very, repeating in fact the points that I said in the beginning. One is that it is a complicated issue. Number 2, sir, is that we are working towards finding step-by-step solution to this. We are hopeful that we can find a 100% solution. But even if not, it is the duty of each and every member of this House, and more importantly this government, to ensure that we try. We may not succeed, sir, but we will try our best. But I'm hopeful that while we move forward, the indications that I'm getting, the kind of findings that are coming out, it looks like we will be able to at least move forward in some of the areas. And that, I hope, will create a positive momentum so that we're actually able to find a solution in most of the areas of differences. And this is very important for us because it's been there for too long, and it's about time that we resolve this issue. And therefore, I was very happy when I heard the suggestions given by the honourable members, and more importantly, the tone and the words that were used by everybody was so encouraging. Even the Honourable Leader of Opposition very positively said that we must work together in this. And that is the message that this House must give to the people of our state, that all the 60 members who are elected by you are working together responsibly to find a solution to this. And I think that is the greatest takeaway from this particular debate that we had, that no matter which political party we belong to, whether we are ruling or opposition, when it comes to the issues of the people and it comes to the issue of the state, we will stand together, we will work together, and we will fight together. And that, I think, should be the summary of this particular debate. And once again, sir, I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to express these things, and giving the honourable members the opportunity to express their concerns, and allowing all of us to send this really positive message to the whole state. And with God's blessing, sir, I'm sure we will be able to move forward, and we will be able to find a solution to this long pending issue of border dispute or differences with Assam state. So with these few words, once again, sir, thank you for allowing this motion.